A very good morning or good afternoon or good evening to wherever you're tuning in from. I'm just double checking to make sure that we're live. Are we live? Drop me a comment in the chat just to let me know that we're live. I can see some lovely comments coming in from people here already. Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon and good evening. From wherever you're tuning in from, it's your boy Trader NJ with another episode of the NJ Show. We've got quite a bit to talk to you guys about today. This week is a crazy week, very, very volatile. There is a lot of action in the market this week, pretty much due to FOMC. A very quick shout out to everybody that was waiting. Just bear with me one moment, guys. I just need to double check to make sure that we are live. Okie dokie, we are. All right. So a quick shout out to KAR Crypto, to Hafuel, to Jay, to Hassan, to Redacted, to Elizabeth. Great to see you guys. Sam Hone, welcome to the show, mate. Vineet, new subscriber here. Your streams are awesome. Thank you very much. We've got some really positive comments. I'm loving it. We've got a really good episode today, guys. Good morning, Joel. Good to see you, mate. Good to see you. Amazing. Hijama Cupping London says salams, mate. Salams. Thank you for joining the stream. Appreciate you. Positive. We've got a ton of positive comments in the chat today. God, you guys are getting my energy up. I've got some pretty important things to talk to you guys about today. I want a few more people to join the live stream, and then we're going to talk about it. I've got some really good insights on Bitcoin for you guys today as well, which I really want to cover with you guys too. So if you haven't already, make sure you're liking the video. Make sure you're subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. Laz, this is a new person in the chat. Welcome to the show. You're my new go-to man. Welcome to the show, Chaz. That's made my day. That's really good. AD says, yo, got the chat buzzing today. William, good to see you, William. I've never seen you before in the chat either. Good morning. And Nadeem, welcome, mate. I appreciate you joining the chat for your consistent support. Actually, I can't do that. Nadeem is my uncle. I can't do that. Mamu, I'm sorry. I can't call you mate. I can't do that. Anyway, all right. We've got enough people in the chat. We've got enough people on the stream. Let's start talking. Okay, cool. So, look, the first thing that I'd like to talk to you guys today about is trading. Okay. I've noticed that a lot of you guys are really focused on trading. A lot of you guys are really focused on price action. And if you've got your coffee and if you're sitting down, then have a seat, because I'm about to tell you off. All right. It's important that you guys listen to what I'm going to say next. I want all of you guys to pay attention. It's very, very important that you hear what I have to say. All right. Now, I'm somebody who comes on YouTube. I have my platform on Twitter as well, where I voice my opinions, where I voice my ideas, where I talk about Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, I talk about trading, and of course, yes, I have trade plans too. All right. Now, it's my responsibility as Trader NJ to ensure the safety of my community. All right. It's my responsibility to ensure that you guys aren't making silly mistakes. All right. And if you guys have been watching this channel for a while, you guys will know that I always stress that if you're tuning into these shows specifically for trading plans and trading setups, if you're not somebody who's seasoned and if you're not somebody who's experienced, then what's going to happen is you're not going to make it. Okay, I've been through the motion. I've been through the process. I've met people who have been through the process. I've met people who have come from zero, just like myself. All right. And inside of that circle, there are some who made it and some who didn't. Now, the first thing that I want to mention is that if you're here today and if you're here on this live stream and if you're here focused on cryptocurrency, you're going to make it. If you're here and you're focused on trading, just solely trading, then you're in the wrong place. Okay, there is a massive difference between cryptocurrency and trading. A massive difference. Cryptocurrency is a movement. Cryptocurrency is a breach in traditional finance. Cryptocurrency is how a lot of people made it. Now, I don't want you guys to be joining other live streams or following people on Twitter and assume that they made it through trading. A majority of the people that you meet in crypto have not made it through trading. And they've got some pretty bizarre stories that they will never, ever tell you because they don't have the honor to do so. Okay? I did not make it in trading. I did not. I know how to trade. I have a system for trading. I did not make it on trading. Okay? Now, this is the reason that I started this YouTube channel. I started this YouTube channel because I wish I had somebody to tell me the things that I missed out on when I was in the 2018 bear market. When I was in the 2018 bear market, the biggest issue that I had was I did not know how to navigate crypto. I did not know how to navigate across altcoins. I didn't know how to look at the bigger picture. Do you know what I was focused on when I was in the 2018 bear market? I was focused on 15-minute trades, 5-minute trades, 1-minute trades. I was focused on looking for a blueprint. And do you know what happened between 2018 and 2020? I just kept losing all my money. I want you to think about that. I really, really want you to think about that because I'm a little bit wound up today. All right. I want you guys to really focus on what I'm saying right now. If you think that you're going to take a $1,000 account and you're going to trade it, you're going to make $1 million R, and suddenly you're going to have a $1 million account, and then you're going to go into an altcoin and make $10 million, you're in the wrong place. You're not here to make it. Okay. Now, if you focus on understanding the macro picture of Bitcoin, if you focus on understanding the higher time frame concepts and the higher time frame trades and mastering those first, then you've got a chance. I see too many people in this bear market. Who are obsessed with price action. Price action is important, but it's not going to take you into the next cycle. Okay? When the next cycle comes and we've got altcoins doing 100x, do you really think price action is what's going to get you that 100x? If you're focused on the 5-minute time frames and the 15-minute time frames and you're looking for level to level in a trending market, do you really think that you're going to catch those 100x's if you're scalping? Okay, my responsibility to you guys will not change. It will not change. I will remain consistent. Okay, you must be careful. You must protect and preserve your capital. Do not trade if you are not equipped to do so. I wish I had somebody to tell me that in 2018, and I'm giving you this information for free. Don't leverage if you don't understand leverage. Okay, the macro, look, we've got a comment here from Joel that says it right here. He says, the macro dictates everything. That's a lesson I've learned. But more importantly, and I'm going to share my Bitcoin thoughts and stuff in a moment, but more importantly, what you guys need to pay attention to is that the lower the time frame you go, the more aggressive the trade becomes, the faster you need to adapt, the quicker you need to be able to put triggers in and put triggers out. I've been there. And what I really wish was for somebody to come and slap me on the back of the head and say, listen, NJ, bro, this is not your strength. What you need to do is you need to differentiate between what crypto is and what trading is. If you want to become a scalper, fine. If you want to become a day trader, fine. This is not the place to do it. Unsubscribe, unlike, and go find a day trading YouTuber or go find a scalping YouTuber who can help you lose all of your money, who can help you give financial advice all across the board, and you can lose all your money. All right. But if you're here and you're part of this community and you want to make it in the next crypto bull run, right? If you're here because you're building your knowledge, you're building your macro system, you're understanding what Bitcoin is doing, you're understanding what Ethereum is doing, you understand what the SPX is doing, you understand what the SPX consists of, and you're not just marking out highs and lows, then you have a chance. Because on the exit of a bear market, that is where the most money is made. The money's not made in the bull markets, you fools. Whoever is listening to this, whether you're listening to this live or you're listening to this recorded, the money is not made in a bull market. In a bull market, that's when you're celebrating. That's when you make music videos. That's when you go partying. That's when you go to your fancy restaurants. The money is made when the market participants is at an all-time low, when we exit the bear market. And I'm going to show you guys right now. Okay? I'm going to show you guys right now. So anyway, rant over. Okay, rant over. Just remember, one more thing I'm going to add to that. Actually, screw it. This is my show. One more thing I'm going to add to that. You guys are all in the positions right now where at some stage, you guys will have a voice. What's going to happen in the future when you guys have a voice? All right. For the people who are tuned in right now and you're focused on making it in the next bull market, what's going to happen when you guys have taken everything that you've learned and you have a voice? You'll have the same responsibility. Okay, so if you're focused on lower time frame trades, and if you're telling people that lower time frame trades are where you need to be in order to make it in the next bull run, you've just outed yourself as somebody who has no fucking clue what they're talking about. And apologies for my language, but it's really, really wound me up today. It's really, really wound me up. Anyway, let's move on to Bitcoin. Okay, let's move on to Bitcoin because I found something yesterday which I think you guys are really going to like. Okie dokie artichoke. Hold on, I think I've done that a bit wrong. Let's do that again. Here we go. There we go. Right. So this is the log chart for Bitcoin. Okay. This is the log chart for Bitcoin. And I tweeted this yesterday. And I wanted to give you guys just some bigger perspective in just as to what's going on with cryptocurrency, where we are in the market, what is happening in the market, to give you guys a wider context. Listen, we have FOMC this week. All right, 45 people here. Listen carefully. Listen to this one line and do whatever you want after that. This week is FOMC. That means that it's a crazy volatile week. That means that if you have that responsibility to your friends, to your family, to people in the community, your onus is to warn people not to trade in this market. You have to be super careful because in FOMC, price doesn't do this. Price doesn't do that during FOMC. What price does during FOMC is you've got a range here like this, and price will keep doing this. There is no stops and there is no anything like that. It's very volatile during FOMC. It's the most dangerous time to trade. Most of the biggest traders are waiting till after FOMC price to settle and they will grab all of their trades right between that Wednesday period to that Friday period on the profit taking day. If you're new to trading, please, okay, I implore you, protect yourself. We are in a position right now where capital preservation is the key. Anyway, rant over. I could keep talking about this for an hour, but I know a lot of you won't listen anyway. You know, it's the nature of the market. The market will continue to entice you to trade and you will continue to lose all your money, but it is what it is. All right. It is what it is. Okay. Anyway, I want you guys to pay attention to this chart that we have here. It's a chart that I was looking at yesterday and I thought to myself, okay, how would people benefit from this? Now, this is the log chart of Bitcoin, and I'm looking at it on the monthly time frame, and we have a lot of data going back here to help us really tell us a story, okay? A story which we'll be able to use to identify whether or not the bottom is in or not. Now, look at this. What I want you guys to pay attention to is the bottom of this channel here and the top of this channel here. You know, and here I've plot out a mid-range. So ranges don't necessarily need to work in horizontals. They can work in diagonals too. Everybody has a different system for trading. And, you know, it's always good to get confluence. So one thing I've looked at here is this channel. We've been in this channel since April 2013. Now, April 2013, we formed this first low. And since it's been nearly 10 years now, nearly a decade of price action where we've been trapped in this channel right here. Now, interestingly enough about this channel, what does it scream to you when you look at it? For me personally, it screams bullish. Why? Because we have clear lows. All right. Good morning, Bob. Good to see you. Good morning, Bob. Laz says, why are you so wound up today? I would love to know. Well, Laz, I'll tell you what, mate. The reason I'm so wound up today is because the reason I started this YouTube channel was to protect people like me. It was to advise people like me, people who love cryptocurrency, people who really want to make it. All of you have dreams. Every single one of you in the chat right now, you've got a dream. You're not going to share it, but I know you have dreams. I had dreams too. My dreams involved my parents. My dreams involved my families. And I know all of you guys have the exact same dreams. Okay? So if I'm going to now tell you guys to trade on the 1 minute time frame and lose all your money, am I contributing to you aiming towards your dream, or am I now pushing you behind? Am I making you fall behind? Don't get suckered into it, guys. Focus on the macro picture of Bitcoin. Focus on what the market is actually telling you. Ignore the small time trades. Save your fucking money. Capital preservation is the key. And I'm explaining it right now. Focus on this chart. I'm going to have to ignore the comments for a little bit. Focus on this chart. This is alpha. Okay. This is something that you're not going to see very often. And I won't be bringing this up on every episode. So, anyway, quick shout out, massive shout out before I go back into this chart. Big shout out to Scarlett, to Henry, to William, to Hafuel, to Bob, to Rowley. Welcome to the show, Rowley. To Andre, thank you very much for your lovely comments, Andre. And once again to Joel, to Manib, welcome 12:15 p.m. gang. It's good to see you guys. All right, cool. So again, let's focus on this chart now because I want to break this chart down for you guys. So what I really want you guys to pay attention to is the channel lows and the channel highs. Now, interestingly enough, right, every time we don't tap the channel lows, every single gap we have where we don't tap the channel lows, we come back and eventually fill that. Similarly here, when we had the crash from 2017 all the way to the capitulation in 2020, notice how there was a gap here that didn't get filled. All right. Now, eventually what happened was we came back above the mid-range. Once again, the same gap that I'm seeing here, interestingly enough, I'm seeing that same gap right here. Okay. Now, one thing that concerned me was, of course, we need to tap the channel lows in order to get back to the channel highs. Okay. Without a tap on the channel lows, I just don't see us getting back to the channel highs. So look, right here, we tap the lows. And once we tap the lows, we grinded our way to the channel highs. Okay. Over here, we didn't tap the channel lows, and therefore we rejected at the mid-range. Beautiful cross right here, and we ended up tapping the channel lows. Now we've come back up. We didn't tap the channel highs, and look at the aggressive behavior. Compare this price action here to this. Look how price turned. And you know what? A massive shout out to Trader XO for giving me this view on Bitcoin. He didn't sit with me and give it to me, but I know this is stuff that he looks at. So a massive, massive shout out to him because he likes to look at the market in this kind of context. And this is the kind of context that you need to look at the market in. All right. So the reason I've got this little the reason I've got this little semicircle marked out here was because if we do tap these channel lows, then where does that put the price of Bitcoin? Okay, we haven't broken this channel in 10 years. Are we going to break it now? Because if we break it now, we're going to get something like that. And that's not something that I believe will happen based on what Bitcoin has done, based on the halving that we've got coming up, based on the macro factors of Bitcoin, based on the fact that Bitcoin has gone from $1,300 to $20,000 to eventually $70,000. All right. So the pattern that Bitcoin's giving us, we can only play with the pattern that we've got, right? Now, what I'm hoping for is if we were to tap into this channel, the lows of this channel, what prices would that give us? Well, I can tell you here that we'd be looking at roughly around 16 to 18K. At most, I would argue that we could get to maybe 12K. Now, the reason that I'm sharing this chart with you guys today, and the reason that I'm so focused on this chart today, is because I want you guys to pay attention to the fact that most of the shorting is done. I'm not saying that we need to go long. I'm explaining that most of the shorting is done. Look at this price action that we've got here. Okay, if we were sitting right here, wouldn't you argue that most of the longs are finished in terms of the bull market? Wouldn't we argue that most of the longs are done here? So the question you have to ask yourself is then, well, how can I get involved in this area here? How can I do that? That is what you guys need to learn. That is what you guys need to take away from myself, Trader Exo, Trader SE, and other influencers you have on these platforms. That's what you need to focus on. It's all good being able to do these smaller time frame charts, but then it turns into financial advice and eventually you find yourself banned. What you need to focus on is you need to focus on how do I get on board in these areas here. You see, this COVID spike here, how many people really saw that it was the bottom of this channel? How many people saw that it was the 200 weekly EMA, the 200 weekly moving average, sorry, that tapped this area here? How many people knew that this area here was the beginning of a massive, massive bull run that led us to 60, 70K? Now, the reason it's important to understand that is because if you focus on this area here for price, then what's going to happen is you'll take a bunch of 15, 20-minute trades, all good. You'll be doing that for a couple of months and all good. And then what will happen is when price begins to trend, when price begins to do this, what's going to happen is you're going to really miss out. And I've got a fractal here that I was using right here. If price does something like this, if price does something like this and you are stuck in a range bound trading environment, then, well, don't blame anybody but yourself. All right? Because understanding this kind of move, and by the way, something like this puts Bitcoin at around 150 to 160K. A move like this, I don't want you to think just about Bitcoin. I want you to think about what that would mean for Ethereum and altcoins and the overall crypto market. How many 100 to 1,000 X's are we going to get in this area? How many? And wouldn't it be more confluential for yourself? Wouldn't it be more pertinent if you saved your money, you preserved your capital, rather than trading it and getting stopped out on every 30, 40 second minute, every 30, 40 second trade? Wouldn't it be more pertinent to hold your money, preserve your capital, enter the market around these areas here, and then suddenly you've got maybe 3, 4, 5 altcoins that give you 100x as we ascend over here? And because you've got the wider scope, because you understand how the market works from a global perspective, from a macro perspective, you can then ride this move here, and suddenly you've made generational wealth. That is the difference between cryptocurrency and traditional markets. Okay, in traditional markets, look, if we're going to talk about dollar yen and GBP NZD cross pairs, if we're going to talk about Euro USD, GBP USD, that works. We can talk about that. Then we can talk about the 15-minute time frames. Then we can talk about the 30, 1 hour, 4 hour. Do you know what I mean? Why? Because we're leveraging, because we are utilizing our margin. And if we get stopped out, it's going to hurt 10 times more. It's going to hurt 10 times more if we get stopped out, because we're in a leverage positions. Words like liquidation come into play when you're playing with leverage. And you've got to ask yourself, if you've been in this game for 3 months, for 6 months, for a year, are you ready to be playing leverage, my bro? Like, chat to me factually. Chat to me factually. Are you ready to be playing with leverage? And furthermore, why would you want to play with leverage when we've got this? Look, this area here, that's the reason. That's what made you join this stream today. This area here, you've seen it unfold in front of you. That's what made you join this stream today. This area here, that's what made you join this stream. But what happens is when you're in the bear market, I see a lot of you focusing on this area, trying your best to get 15-minute trades in this area, losing all your money. And then when the next bull market comes, you lot don't know what you're doing. Like, I can't get more angry when I think about that. It's very common sense. It's perspective. And if you're here to learn, then bro, I'm showing you. I've got a comment here from Qfire that says, yes, NJ, but if you have small capital, you can trade, then invest profits into a hodl wallet. Let's talk about that. Go on. Let's talk about it. I'm gonna keep this comment up as well. So let's say, for instance, you're focused on the 15-minute time frame, you're focused on the 5-minute time frame. All right. You're trying to make 1 hour a day, 2 hour a day, 3 hour a day, 5 hour a day. I don't know how much you're trying to make, but you're trying to make it. All right. You're getting convinced by other fake traders who are risking $2-3 on their trade that you can make 10 hour a day, 5 hour a day, as long as you subscribe to their groups and whatnot. Let's talk about it. Now, if you take a small account of $1,000 and you're risking $100 per hour, in your stupid mind, you've made yourself believe that you're going to turn this 1K account into a 5, 10, 15, 20K account without realizing that you'd need around 200R to do it. Okay. Now, some of the big traders out there, for them to get 2-3R a week, they have to break down price so deeply to get 2-3R a week. Guys who are making 40-50R a week, they're not really trading. They're not. You'll eventually find out yourself, but they're not. Okay. Now, if you take that 1K and you put it into Floki when the market was pushing up here like this area here, you take that 1K that you saved. You spent that 2 years studying, researching. You put that 1K into Floki and it does a 3,500x. Then what? Now you've got 350 grand. You understand the market. You understand how the market working and the market's turning. Price gets to this area here. You can see that this area is key resistance. Look how we turned at the mid-range. Look how we turned at the mid-range. Most people did not catch this. 99% of market participants did not catch this. But for those people who focused on this area here, you know what they did? They bought Floki, they bought meme coins, they bought Solana. My friend is in the chat here today. She is a trader and she's a very freaking good trader as well. One of the best that I know. Okay. But she bought Solana at $1. And do you know what Solana did when she bought it at $1? It went to $240. So now I want to explain it to you. I want to ask you guys again. If we're talking about price, if we're talking about generational wealth, you tell me, is it better to spend your time focused on 15-minute trades and you're going to miss moves like buying Solana at $1 and selling at the highs? Even if you sold at $200, that's a 200x. You want to talk to me about generational wealth, make sure you have substance. I don't want to be talking about R. I don't want to be talking about 5-minute and 10-minute trades. I don't want to be talking about 15-minute trades. How is that going to benefit you? How does that benefit me? How? What I want to focus on is price so that I understand what price is doing based on what the market is giving me. Okay? And Moby, yes, I am talking about Elizabeth. She's one of the best traders that I know. Okay? But even she will tell you that if you focus and wait for the bull market and really, really hone on your skills between now and then, you're more likely to make it than you are if you continuously liquidate your account through 15-minute trades. Anyway, I digress. I certainly digress. This is not a very good episode. Excuse me. So again, focusing on a chart like this right now, this is where I'm really focused. All right. If we get something along the lines of this, anything that can push us into these channel lows, for me personally, I'm going to start really and truly preparing myself for that bull market. Okay. That bull market can come. It can be 2024, 2025, because we have the halving in 2024. But what about if the bull market came before that? What about if we tap these channel lows and all of this right here unfolds at the first half of 2023? Then what? What does that mean? Are you going to be ready for that? Have you prepared for that? Have you planned for that? Or are you focused on your 5-minute trades? You tell me. Because as I've already mentioned in this channel, I mention it nearly every episode. I say that the majority of the money is made on the exit of a bear market. You see, if we look at price right here, look, this is the channel low, this is the mid-range, and this is the high. Let me show you guys something. Over here is where the smart money buys. Over here is where people like me and you buy. Between this area here And around this area here, this little chunk of price right here, that's where we make our 1,000x's. That's where we make all our money in meme coins, in oracles, in layer ones, layer twos, probably layer fives by the time this next cycle comes along. That's where we make all our money. This area here, this distribution area here, that's where we're partying. That's where we're used to making the money. That's where we're going out, we're taking pictures, we're celebrating, we're going to these fancy restaurants. Do you see what I mean? A majority of the money is made here, where there's not enough market participants. And over here in the distribution range, excuse me, that is where smart money is preparing to sell off. Okay, so you've got to ask yourself, if you're here learning on this channel, and if you're here really, really trying to prepare, right? What you need to focus on is, NJ, how do I get myself into this area here? How do I get myself into this area here? How do I get myself into this area right here, where I'm one of the few market participants across the whole world? Because I know that in this area here, that's when everybody's involved. Over here, that's where everybody's involved. And over here, that's where everybody's involved. And that's where you make the least money. Of course, you're going to make money. You're not going to lose any. That's where you make a lot of money too. But you're not going to make anywhere near as much as this. Anywhere near as much as this. And do you remember when SE was on the show a couple of days ago? When SE was on the show, he said, look, I don't mean to be rude, but 99% of you aren't going to make it. That's what he said. And do you know what? I agree with him. I do. But if you can separate yourself today, if you can make that change today, and you can say, look, I want to be involved in this area here, and I want to be involved in this area here, I want to be involved in this area here, then you have an opportunity to do that today. Get off the 5-minute time frames. Get off the lower time frames. Stop being suckered in by traders who aren't actually trading. Stop getting suckered in. Okay? You want to make it, you will. You will. But anyway, you've got to put the work in. Okay? And it starts from here. It starts from here. So anyway, look, if I've ranted way too much in this episode. If we get a tap into these channel lows, I really, really do want to play this back to the mid-range. I don't know how low price can go. Maybe price can go as low as here, and that falls in at 12K. I wouldn't mind if that happened. The closer we get to that 12K level, the more I really think that we're going to find a bottom. Okay? And what's interesting about a chart like this is it makes me wonder, are we close to the low? You know, looking at a chart like this, it makes me think that we're 3 to 6 months away from an all-time low. Okay? And if we're that close to a low, then I don't want you guys to get excited. I want you guys to be worried. If we are that close to the low and we are about to go into a new bull market, then what have you guys done to prepare? What have you guys done to prepare? What have you studied? Are you prepared for the next bull market? Someone in the chat, talk to me about layer ones and layer twos. Somebody in the chat, talk to me about DeFi and how it's going to change the world. Somebody in the chat, talk to me about fundamental analysis. I know you're all focused on your 5-minute charts. Talk to me about fundamentals. No, you can't, because you're not ready. You're not prepared. The low being 3 to 6 months away, I'm even worried. I'm asking myself, am I prepared? Am I prepared? Because you see, when this leg comes here, when this happens here, there will not be no time. There will not be no time. There'll be an altcoin to cover every single day. There'll be a new wave to cover. It might not be NFTs. It might not be metaverse. It might not be DeFi. It might be something completely new, and we're not prepared for it. Okay? Everybody is looking at tokens right now in crypto, and they're thinking that coin is going to reverse and it's going to go to new all-time highs in the next cycle. But what you're not realizing is in the next cycle, we're going to have brand new coins. We're going to have brand new coins. We're going to have brand new projects. Okay? And those brand new projects are the ones that are going to moon. Now, we're going to cover them on the NJ show. But in order for you to take advantage of the opportunities that are in front of you, you've got to make sure that you're prepared to get involved in this area here. And you don't do that by losing all your money leveraging. So look, The reason I'm saying all of this stuff today is because I love you guys. I really, really love you guys. You guys are the reason that this community is growing. Help me get to 100 likes. Okay? Make sure you're subscribing to the show. We want you guys to make it. We want you guys to make sure that you guys are thriving in the next bull market. Okay? The market is not an easy opponent, and the market is a worthy adversary. If you think that the market is you're stronger and you're smarter than the market, leave. Leave. I mean it, leave. Make like a tree and leaf. That was a poor joke, but I'm serious. Okay? All right. Let's is that who I think it is? Ali, is that you, fam? Is that you? Anyway. Let's move on to Bitcoin. Let's break that. So do you guys understand, before I move on, do you guys understand everything that I've said here? This is a really, really important chart. I really want you guys to pay attention to this chart. This can put Bitcoin at really and truly 150, 160K, and I'm not going to be front run by that. If we tap into these channel lows, I'm not going to be worried. If we break below and break back above these channel lows, it will be time to start ramping. There won't be time to answer questions. There won't be time for hugs and kisses. We're all going to need our heads screwed on, strapped onto the shoulders. We're going to need to be smashing altcoins. Okay? We're going to need to be smashing altcoins. I love all of you. I can see the chats. You guys are debating in the chats. You guys are talking in the chat. I'm very, very impressed with what I'm seeing. As a community, we are growing. As a community, we are smashing it. So make sure you like the show. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We are well on our way to 3K subscribers. We're so close to 3K subscribers. Drop me some altcoin chart requests in about half an hour, 40 minutes. We'll go through them and let's talk about Bitcoin in a lower time frame context. All right. So let us see, what do we have today? So let's talk about the plans that we had. The plans that we had for Bitcoin. Now, this is the messy chart for Bitcoin, and we did not want this low to get taken out here. We had long plans, we had short plans, and we were looking based on probability, what could Bitcoin do? Now, we had a supply zone here. This supply zone was massively important to me, and I'll dissect it in the next chart that we look at for Bitcoin. This is a bit of a messy chart. I don't like to trade in this area. Between this red line and this green line, I don't like to trade in this area. This is a no trade zone for me. This is where price gets really choppy and it can really easily stop you out if you don't know what you're doing. However, above the supply zone, we were looking for these longs. Over here, we were looking for a breakout. Over here, we were looking for a retest. What did we do? We tapped resistance here. This resistance here, this blue line, is a previous consolidation from 2020. At 20K, 25K, it was the first place that Bitcoin found consolidation before it pushed up into the last bull market. What we did was we resisted here and then we got confirmation right here. Now, we didn't take that trade. And the reason we didn't take that trade was because of this trend line here. Okay, this trend line here really held the market up, especially after being capped by this level for so long. Once we broke above, we didn't know which direction price was going to go in. Really and truly, price could have just done this and it could have gone up. Now, we broke the trend line. Over here was your confirmation and we still didn't take that trade. We were concerned and we said to ourselves, hold on a second. Price is in a supply zone. So what we did was we went to the other chart of Bitcoin and we looked at it from a range perspective. And we said, okay, since price has broken this trend line, since we are back in the range highs, we're going to short this at least to the 75% of the range. Okay. The 75% of the range was mega important because we've got resistance here, deviation here, and support here. So we said this would be a naturally good target. Now price came and we actually nailed this trade. So in the description below, the first link you will see is a link to the Telegram channel for In It for the Tech. And in that channel, we took this trade from here to here. And this was a very, very decent trade. All right. We made some good money off this trade. It was a trade that you guys can really learn from. It was a range bound trade. it was a higher time frame trade, a 4-hour trade, so you guys have time to manage it. I assume that when we got the drop here and price revisited this area here, a lot of people panicked. But again, this is good for your trading scenarios. Okay, for people who put the stop losses right here, they would have got wiped out from this high here. But for people who saw this as the confirmation, therefore your stop loss, you would have been able to take this trade and comfortably ride it to the 75%. Now, the question is, right, now that we're below this 21,600 level, that was a line in the sand for me. I said that if we get below this level, we need to hold below it. So what I think is going to happen next is this. Number one, where is price trapped? Price is trapped between this level here and this level here, okay? This is the target, but we're trapped between this level here and this level here. So what do I think happens next? What I think happens next is either we get a pullback into this 21,600 level here, we break down and we sell off into the mid-range. Your stop loss would be there. Break below the mid-range and we can target here, break below here. And really, I think it's going to be aggressive into these lows right here. Okay, so that is the continuation plan for Bitcoin. Now, there are other ways that we can divulge this. What if price doesn't give us the perfect retest? Well, if price doesn't give us this perfect retest that we're looking for here, then what we can do is we can wait for the mid-range to break, okay? The mid-range breaking is going to be important. So for instance, we've got this low here, this low right here, this low right here. So if we break below the mid-range, come back here and find resistance, we know that the next natural magnet is going to be this low here. And more importantly, we can finally fill in this inefficiency that we have right here, okay? So that is the plan for Bitcoin. Two plans, either we can short it from here or we can short it from here. Or if you want, if you're really worried and you want to be conservative, we can short it from here. But please do not go into the lower time frames where you might not be able to manage your trade and short it, because what will happen is you'll get stopped so quick and you'll lose you blow your account. So again, those are the trading plans for Bitcoin. Another perspective that I want you guys to see is if I get this chart here, and what's this chart? What do we have on this chart here? All right, so if I delete everything from here, I want you guys to look at it from one final perspective, and that is like this. You know how I always say, where is price trapped? So if I take something like this and I push it out here, and if I take something like this and I push it out here, there's nothing really fancy about this, all right? It's clear what I've done here. I've taken two lines and I'm telling you a story. This is the consolidation that sent the market lower. This is resistance of this consolidation. This is resistance of this consolidation. This is us trying for a third time to break this consolidation, but we couldn't. Therefore, we deviated it. There is your confirmation for the trade to the range low. Now, what's happened is for the fourth time now, we've tried to break this consolidation here. And you know what? We broke it. Price got above, retested. And what did we do? We took out these highs here, right here. And then what happened is price got back below. Now we're back inside of this range. So this makes it an overall deviation. It's clear that longs were being trapped in this area here. Price deviated, got back below the range low, and now we're looking for that sell-off back into the range lows, okay? So I would take a screenshot of that if I was you guys, because that's a really good way to learn. It's a consolidation. I think we've got the same thing here. Let me try and plot it out. So once again, so this is the consolidation here that trapped the market. This was resistance. This was resistance. On the third occasion, price got above and managed to swipe this consolidation here. All of these little highs that you're seeing here, price was able to do that. And as soon as the deviation was confirmed, price got below. Finally, we retested it here. So a lot of people were looking for the short in this area. It didn't come. Finally, price got here and we started selling off. Once we sold off, broke below the range, we got the confirmation that we need. So, based on that, I'm wondering now, if we're seeing something like this, then are we going to get something along the lines of a breakout here? And then we can finally get into these lows. If we can finally get into these lows, I really and truly think that the low will finally be in. That will be a nice 3-wave sell-off, maybe even 4. Maybe even 4. So 1, 2, 3. Maybe from here, we can finally start looking for a low as we go into the next year. Okay? So this is something that I really, really want to focus on. And look, in this episode, we're going to talk about things like FOMC and global macro as well, so that we can try and see whether or not Bitcoin can actually find a bottom. Okay? So stick around for that. Make sure you stick around for that. And if you haven't already, guys, please like the video. Help me get to 100 likes. We try to get to 100 likes on every episode. It helps with the algorithms. It helps more people view the video, more people see the content that we're producing, and it'll help the NJ show really grow. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, please make sure you're subscribing to the channel, because I'm relying on you to get to 3K subscribers. It's up to you guys to help our community grow. Okay? So from this perspective here on this downtrend, I really think that we're getting closer and closer to these lows, especially when we look at the log chart too, to see where we are on that channel. So there's a lot of factors here that tell me excuse me, that we're not that far. We're not that far from the bottom. And when we do finally get there, we'll wait for that nice boring price action, something along the lines of this, but on a longer term time frame. Okay, something along the lines of this. Maybe when things get boring enough, maybe when we get enough liquidity, then suddenly, boom, Bitcoin, we're going to short it because it's come into this consolidation. But no, Bitcoin is back in a bull market, and then we can start going up. Okay. So anyway, so there. So again, what I'm focusing on for Bitcoin right now on the lower time frames, on maybe the hourly, the 4-hourly and whatnot, maybe even the M30, I'm looking for something like this to unfold. I think that a deviation above this range was the worst case scenario for Bitcoin. And I do think that we're going to start pushing back lower to at least this 19K level. Now, if we break this 19K level, I really think these lows here want to get taken. For me, this is not quite a deviation. For me, this is an inefficiency. It feels like price isn't supposed to be there. And do we have another example of that? Yes, we do. We've got this inefficiency right here where everybody thought it was a deviation. Price got above, held into this range, and people were like, yeah, the stop loss is here. This low is never going to break. When price finally deviated and took liquidity at the top of the range, we got that nasty sell-off that took this low out. Okay. So, again, I'm kind of expecting the same thing here. I'm expecting these little wicks here to get filled, and I'm expecting these wicks here to get filled. And the last thing that I'm going to touch on before we move on to maybe some news, maybe Ethereum, maybe some altcoin charts, the last thing I'm going to touch on is, is one more time on Bitcoin, where, when we look at the weekly chart, right, for Bitcoin, you see this area here. You see this area here. A lot of people are thinking that Bitcoin is going to do that. A lot of people are thinking that Bitcoin is going to do something like this. Okay? But I want you guys to remember that there is a big difference between this area here and this area here. There is a massive difference between these two areas. The biggest difference between these two areas is this right here was event driven. This was not price action. This was not this high led to this low, and then this gap here was filled. And then if we see this consolidation right here, we can see price retesting. And then we got the 200 MA. It was not that. This was a global pandemic. This was COVID. This is an event that your parents didn't go through, your grandparents didn't go through, your great-grandparents didn't go through. This was a once-in-a-generation kind of event. All right? Therefore, in trading, we call this a black swan event. Okay? A black swan. And once we pushed below, again, it was all the stimulus that came into the market that allowed the market to really push up. Okay, why was that happening? Well, it was the S&P. All the stimulus that we got went into the stock market. Stock market and Bitcoin are correlated, and voila, we got that. So for this cycle that we're in right now, I'm really, really more focused on something like this. I really think that if we come down, and let me remove this here like that. I really think that if we come down and we can do something like this for a good while, a range bound environment, and look, there will be money to be made in this range. There will be. Look, we take this like this, and if we take this like that, there we go. There will be money to be made. There'll be a range low, there'll be a range high, and then eventually when nobody's really expecting it, that's when we can get something like this. And look, on a 5-minute chart, right, these highs here, on a 5-minute chart, right, these highs here, they look really, really juicy. For me personally, I can see price taking out these highs just from a price action perspective. Okay, so KAR Crypto says, do you think we'll experience a relief rally this afternoon, noting both Google and Microsoft are releasing their Q2 earnings after the US market closing bell? It's very, very difficult to say. So right now, due to the FOMC situation that we're in, there is going to be a lot of chop in the smaller time frames of Bitcoin and Ethereum. I do think that we've got some big reports coming out today. However, because FOMC is still happening tomorrow on Wednesday, today is Tuesday, it's not going to impact the market as much as people think. More importantly, is we can use price action to help us in these scenarios, and we can mix it with the news. So if we go back to our range chart here, the question that you have to ask yourself is, if we're going to see a bounce, then where are we going to see the bounce, and what does the bounce constitute? The bounce, if we're going to see a bounce anyway, then we've got consolidation here, which from a seller profile, we're going lower, aren't we? So if we are going to see a bounce, then is the bounce going to only be just to get a short position into the mid-range? You know what I mean? And look, Hafu El says it perfectly here. He says, look, my hands off until the dust has settled. And even if you follow SC, even if you listen to his videos, he will tell you the same thing. Don't trade during FOMC. Scarlett says, NJ, how do you see ETH? How do you see ETH where base might be? Where might it create a range? That's a good question, Scarlett. I do understand what you're saying, but we can't guess a range. We can't guess a range. What we can say is that for Bitcoin, as an example, we've got lows to work with here for Bitcoin. We've got this low here, which is important. It corresponds with these lows here. It corresponds with these lows here. There are reasons that we can go to 12K, but 12K might not come. 12K might not come. However, if we was to establish a base, I would argue it would be anywhere between 20K and 12K. And you might think to yourself, well, hang on, NJ, you've given me an $8,000 range there, you moron. Well, no, an $8,000 range sounds massive when you're looking at it from 20 to 12. But then if we do consolidate somewhere around 16, for instance, and we then go to 160, suddenly 8K is not that much of a range. Make sense? If it doesn't make sense, rewind the video and listen to that again. Joel says, cheers, NJ community. We'll catch up on the video a bit later. Have an awesome day all, and thanks, NJ, for the alpha once again. A big shout out to Joel. He's a lovely, lovely member of this community, somebody who wants to see the community grow. So a big shout out to him. I'm really loving how you guys are discussing stuff in the chat. Okay, listen, guys, again, one more time, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, bottom right hand corner, we need your help to get to 3K subscribers. We're really getting on our way, but we need you guys to do it. I checked these stats yesterday, and 50% of people who watch this show aren't subscribed. So if you're one of those people and you're learning something, then take a second. It takes a second, and it's for free. Subscribe to the channel. So look, this is kind of my main plan for Bitcoin, okay? Where I think price is going to tap into this consolidation here, and then we're going to get a short setup. So this is my main plan for Bitcoin. So if you guys want to take a screenshot, now is the time to do so. And my second plan for Bitcoin is this. I'll show you because this range has been respected so beautifully. My second plan for Bitcoin is this. That is my second plan for Bitcoin. If we can break below this mid range and we can really hold below this mid range, then essentially we've got to ask ourselves, why is the sell off going to be so aggressive? The sell off will become aggressive because suddenly, if this is the mid range, then all of this becomes a deviation of the mid range. Everything above here is a massive distribution that wants us to go a hell of a lot lower. Okay, the bigger the deviation, the more the aggressiveness the trade is going to be. And you know what? We took a trade like that on the NJ show a few weeks ago. Do you remember when we took the long? We took a long on the NJ show around here, and our target was this level here. And then when price got below again, we longed it around here again, and we actually managed to nail it all the way up. Now, the reason that we took that long that we took here was because we were asking if this was a deviation here of the mid range. And now, ironically, we are seeing something really similar here where could all of this be a deviation of the mid range? Okay, it's something that we need to take into consideration. Let me remove this line here. And from here you can actually see as well, I think this would be a good screenshot to take for your notes or anything like that. Deviation, as soon as we get the distribution range that pushes us above, we hold it here, we get the push up. As soon as we get the distribution range or the deviation that goes over the mid range, once we get back below the mid range, you can really short this thing down. Now, I've gone in with size around 21,600 because I believe that once we lose 21,600, it's over. Deviation, resistance, resistance, resistance. Okay. 2100 was the line in the sand for me. It really, really was. That's what I didn't want us to lose. After breaking above the range, after focusing and breaking hard above it, why did we get back in the range? And not only did we get back below the range high, but we've now gone and broken that 21,600 and the magnet is now the mid range. If the magnet is the mid range, then why is price distributing like this? So one scenario that I did have was we hold this 21,600 level and we can start forming a base, getting back above, and then we can get back above. And this would be the deviation, but it's not. It didn't work out. So now we're back below. We've got the plans. Okay. That's the plan for Bitcoin. Two main plans that I'm focusing on. I'm not looking at long scenarios. The reason I'm not looking at long scenarios, the reason I'm worried about FOMC is because during FOMC, this is what price can do. All right. Price has a weird way of doing this. Now, you tell me, right? You tell me. This area here, this is what FOMC can do. This is not a healthy trading plan. From mid-range straight up, we get a spike up, take out these stops, and then push back below, and then get another random spike up, and then break below the mid-range, and then sell off, but then massive push up. FOMC is a very, very scary time to trade. Okay, don't get suckered in. It's one of those things. If it follows the plan, we can take the trade based off the plan, but do not rush your trades. All right. Got another question here that says, NJ, do you think that when the time comes, it will be better to stack ETH and BTC than alt, or just focus on alt? I would start with the big boys and then rotate to the little one. Metiyu, I'm glad that you're listening. That is a really good comment. Great comment. I think that when Bitcoin starts forming a low, we will catch it on the channel. I don't think we're going to catch the exact low, but we're going to be patiently waiting for that consolidation that will take us into the next bull market. Okay. Now, when we do, me personally, I'm going to be going with BTC and ETH. Okay. I think that BTC will 10x before altcoins start going really wild. Now, if you take your $1,000, you put it into BTC at something crazy like 12K, BTC does a 5-10x, you've got 5-10K to play with before altcoins really start going. You know what I'm saying? So, you throw your 5-10K into an altcoin that goes 100x and suddenly you are a participant. You are a real big player in the game. All right. So that's my thesis. That's my thoughts on Bitcoin. We're going to move on now. We're going to move on because we're an hour in. If you haven't already, like the video, please. It helps us with the algorithms. We want to hit 100 likes if possible. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, because if you subscribe to the channel, the NJ community grows. We are not that far away from 3K subscribers. We are just under 300 subs away from 3K subscribers. So if you guys can help us with that situation, I would be super, super grateful. Tarek here says, do you think monkeypox could cause a black swan event? Well, look, I covered monkeypox in yesterday's episode. We spoke about stock reports. We spoke about FOMC in a bit more detail. We spoke about what we could expect in the coming days. If you haven't seen yesterday's video, you're going to want to watch that, because I cover that in yesterday's stream. Now, moving on, let's move on a little bit. Let's have a quick look of the market just to see how much blood has been caused by the Bitcoin drop. Everything here is in red. There is nothing here that I can see that's not in red. Everything looks pretty crap, and it looks like there's not really that much money to be made in altcoins. I mentioned this yesterday on yesterday's stream. I did say that there's not a lot of money to be made in altcoins at the moment. Altcoins are not looking very good. There were some trade setups that really did give us a good sort of setup a couple of days ago on Friday, but those setups have since been invalidated, because that's what trading is. Trading is not being able to nail it on the 5, 10, 15 minutes. Trading is just all ideas. The better that you get at trading, the more probable that your ideas are going to get. All right. And we had some pretty probable ideas on Friday and Thursday, and we were nailing them. We were making money off them. And then what did Bitcoin decide to do? Bitcoin decided to do this. Bitcoin decided to break the trend line, get back underneath the range level, and it started pushing lower. So really and truly, we've just got to be honest with ourselves, and we've got to say, look, Bitcoin didn't follow the plan that pretty much everybody on Twitter had. And that's the situation that we're in. We have to play the market for what it is. Imagine how many people are still holding their positions, guys. Imagine how many people bought this here, and they're still holding their positions. They didn't cut their positions here. They've not cut their positions here. They've not cut their positions here. We've broken back inside of the 75% now. All right, we're here, and people are still holding their positions. So you've got to really wonder. A lot of people are trapped. All of this stuff that you're seeing here is trapped longs. Okay, and the more trapped longs we have, the deeper we're going to go. People aren't cutting their positions, which means that there's too much money to be made on the downside, which means that altcoins aren't really the play right now. And look, Rolly says it here. Rolly says, throw that 5K into Kiba. We can't do that right now, my friend. We just can't do that. Okay. We can't do that because the market is telling us that it wants to go down. If Bitcoin is telling us that it wants to go down, then I can't tell you to buy a meme coin. Now, if Bitcoin broke 30K, and we were holding, and it looked good, and the weekly looked good, and the monthly looked good, and the S&P looked good, and we already saw other altcoins slowly pushing, coins like Doge, coins like Shiba, then I would say, hang on a second, maybe it's time to buy coins like Kiba and Floki again. NJ, can you give us your opinion on VLX Weekly? Are you talking about the VIX, mate? Are you talking about VIX? The volatility index for the S&P? Is that what you're talking about? I don't know what you're talking about here. I'm really sorry. And Bam Bam Bitcoin says, even when you hate Richard Hart, you can't deny that Hex is in the greens while whole market is puking. Look, Bam Bam, look, there will be coins that will outperform the market. There will be. But, who's winning? You tell me who's winning right now. Is people who are buying Pulse Chain and Hex winning? Or are people who are shorting the market from 70K, are those people winning? People who are riding the downtrend, those are the people that are winning. Now, I appreciate you might have a position in that altcoin, and I appreciate that altcoin might be doing what it's doing, but it's not safe to be advising people to be touching any altcoins right now. If the market continues to go lower, even Hex will get destroyed. If the market decides it wants to do something like this, there will be no Hex coin, my friend. I promise you that. There will be no Hex coin. It will become a dinosaur coin. So just be careful All right, Scarlett, my friend, I don't know what Veles is. I'm really sorry. I don't know what it is. If it's an altcoin, maybe we can chart it towards the end of the episode. We'll cover some news now for the next half an hour. If you stick around till the end of the episode, we'll cover some altcoins, okay? And I'll answer some more questions. So we've had a look at the market. The market is piss poor. It's looking really, really poor. Out of all of these altcoins that have dumped, I'm noticing that XRP and TRX are really the ones that haven't gone lower that much. So maybe the short plans that we should be looking at are potentially Leo token, Tron, TRX, and maybe even XRP, okay? Because all the other coins, they've really moved, 8.4% on ETH, 5.3% on BNB, 5.7 on Cardano, Solana 9%. So these coins have really already moved. We want to see the ones that haven't. Even Matic 10%. So when I see 2.1% on Tron, I'm wondering maybe the short setup hasn't initiated for Tron yet. So it could be. Maybe we'll have a look. Just put your altcoin requests in. I will go on later on and I will chart some of these altcoins for you guys. All right. Just give me a second. We've got 70 people watching the show. Can we get a few subscribers? For those of you who are just maybe doing something, you're away from your phone, your laptop, your TV, can you subscribe to the channel? We need to hit that 3,000 marker. If we hit that 3,000 marker, I'm going to bring SC back on the show. Maybe I'll bring SC and XO at the same time. That would be a good present for you guys. I think that would be a really good episode. But in order to do that, you guys have to help me to get to 3K subscribers. I can't ask you enough. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel. What are you doing? You're missing out, So the first thing that we're going to talk to about today is Joe Biden, the United States president, that says we're not going to be in a recession. Now, you've seen the headline, you've seen the thumbnail. This is one of those episodes where we're here to call on bullshit. The recession, a lot of people have opinions on this recession. A lot of people are wondering if the banks are doing this on purpose, if the banks are trying to engage in a small time recession so that we can get lower engagement on housing. Maybe it's more difficult to get a loan. So people are wondering if the recession is something that's being pushed in by central banks or if the recession is something that's actually happening from inflation. Now, Joe Biden saying that the US is not going to go into a recession, you've got to really zoom out and connect the dots. Joe Biden can't come out and say we're going into a recession right now, because if he does, that would be the black swan event. That would be the catalyst, wouldn't it? The S&P would drop immediately because the president of the United States has said we're going into a recession right now. We're waving the white flag. We've got to surrender. And at the same time, if he does say that we're not going into a recession, we can get some peace in the market. We can get just the typical FOMC chop that we're getting. So let's have a quick look at this. President Joe Biden said Monday he does not expect the United States to suffer an economic downturn, although GDP figures due later this week may show the economy shrinking for a second consecutive quarter. Now, I kind of find this a bit weird with the rate hikes going up, with FOMC predicted to up the rate hikes by another 75%, by another 75 basis points. It makes me kind of wonder what you're talking about, Joe Biden. And also it makes me wonder as well that Joe Biden is kind of one of the least liked presidents since we've had these new presidents. He's kind of one of the least liked ones. He doesn't really affect the market that much, and we need presidents that will really, really affect the market. So I wouldn't be surprised if his 4-year period comes to an end and somebody like Trump comes back into the picture. I don't know if you guys were really around in the market for when Trump was here, but Trump, he used to affect the market. I'm telling you, that guy was insane. He would tweet. Trump would be able to tweet and the market would move. So again, Joe Biden saying this, I really think that we need to make our own thoughts. We need to fashion our own thoughts and theses when we're coming into this. And, David says here, there won't be a recession in the US because Janet Yellen changed the rules yesterday. Look, I appreciate that, but what does that mean in terms of the overall global climate? We're not just talking about a recession in the US, my friend. We're talking about the UK, we're talking about Europe. This is one of the most economic global downturns that we've ever seen. You've got to think about it, right? If FOMC is at 75 basis points, haven't you noticed that a lot of people are talking about that like it's normal? 50 basis points was not the norm. 50 basis points was very high, and we've seen typically in markets that if the basis points goes over 50, what tends to happen is, even though it wouldn't have gone over 50 in such a long time, what tends to happen is it causes a domino effect. From 50 it starts climbing, and suddenly we get rumors that it could even be 100. Now, if it goes to extreme cases like 100 bps, then what does that mean for us? That means that they haven't got control over inflation. That means that it's going to be harder for us to get money. It means that their monetary policies are going to put more pressure on the stock market, and it's going to cause Bitcoin to flush because it's going to cause the stock market to flush. You know what I mean? So seeing something like this, it does worry me. It does worry me. Multiple US officials have downplayed revising recession fears, saying a downturn in the world's largest economy is unlikely given the very tight labor markets. But again, we've got the dollar going up. We've got the S&P under consistent pressure. Bitcoin is under consistent pressure. Who do you know that's really making money right now? Who do you know that's actually making any money right now? Who do you know that's winning in this market? Which of your altcoins has done 100x in the last couple of days? Certainly not mine. So when we're reading news like this, it's not just to be up to date. This is not BBC News. This is not Sky News. All right, the reason we read news like this because we want to understand how it actually impacts us as traders. If we're trading the market, if we're trading Bitcoin, if we're trading Ethereum, then when you look at a piece of news like this, Biden says US is not going to be in a recession, is this something that you're going to have a piece of toast and a bit of coffee with, and you're not really understanding how it impacts you? Or are you somebody who looks at this piece of news and think, do you know what? Hold on a second. How does this actually impact me as a normal person doing what I do day in, day out? How does this impact me? How does it impact Bitcoin? How does it impact cryptocurrency? Because ultimately, let's be honest, guys, let's be honest. The reason that we're all here, all of us, the reason that we're here is because we want to get rich from cryptocurrency. That's the truth, right? The reason I'm here on YouTube is because I want to get rich on crypto, and I want to see all of you guys do it too. That's the truth. So what we're doing right now is we're in a bear market. We're building in a bear market. We're trying to learn and understand in a bear market. And then when the bull market comes around, we want to be prepared enough so we can smash it. So, understanding a piece of news like this makes us ask ourselves, how does this affect me? Now, personally, if we are going into a recession, it will be bad news. It will mean that we have to brace ourselves. You know that meme of Game of Thrones, Ned Stark, where he's holding the sword like this and he's like, brace yourselves. That's what we're going to need to do, simply because it will impact every single household in the US, and it will domino effect into the UK and in Europe as well. And if it does that, then we all have to prepare ourselves. The good thing about going into a recession, for me personally anyway, is going into a recession will mean that things are only going to get worse. And if things are going to get worse, the Fed is going to have to do something. When COVID hit, when we had that black swan event for COVID, the Fed was unprepared. The Fed didn't know what to do. And in the end, what happened was stimulus. That was the answer, wasn't it? We created money out of thin air. If you see the dollar as a token, right? We printed tokens out of thin air, and as soon as we did that, the market suddenly started going up. So essentially speaking, that's kind of what's going to need to happen again. We're going to need to get ourselves in a position where things are so bad that somebody's going to have to do something. Something will have to change. Okay? We won't be able to do anything until something changes in the market. And for me personally, I'm thinking money printer. I'm sure all of you guys have your opinions. I'm sure all of you guys have ideas as to what could happen. I'm just personally thinking money printer. Okay. It could be something else. It could be something that I'm not prepared for. What happens if we get this monkeypox thing and everybody has to go back into freaking lockdown again? It's how are people going to survive? How are people going to survive? If we're in a recession, how are people going to survive? How are people going to make money? Something is going to have to change. Now, when I say something is going to have to change, does that mean the bear market will be coming to an end? It makes me wonder, does that mean the bear market's going to come to an end? I'm looking at some of these comments and how did this get into football? I love football. I'd love to talk about football with you guys. Oh, for flip's sake, we've got so much to cover today. Hey, at the end of the episode, someone bring up football again so we can talk. We'll remove it from the episode, but as soon as the episode finishes, maybe we'll cover a bit more news, a bit more altcoin requests. Bring up football again. I love talking about that. You guys are so awesome. I'm having a ranty day, and you guys are actually bringing my mood back up. You guys are friggin' awesome. I love you guys. One more quick message just to say, the first link in the description below is a link to the Telegram channel. Make sure you guys are joining that. We post trading setups in that channel. We post different pieces of news. I voice note you guys as well to get a more sort of deeper interaction with you guys. Just make sure you guys are subscribing to that Telegram channel. And the most important thing is we are on our journey to 3K subscribers. So I know a lot of you have heard this already, but for those of you who are joining the show a little bit late, subscribe to the channel. Help us get to 3K subscribers. We are really, really trying to push for that. So share the channel with your friends, share it with your colleagues, share it with your network. Okay, I know you guys are all networking with each other now. It's going to be so funny when I see all of you little guys make it big in the next cycle. It's going to be funny. Some of the names that I'm seeing here, I know I'm going to see some of these names in 2 years' time, and I'm going to be giggling because I'll remember 2 years ago today when you guys were saying some of the things that you were saying now. So it's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. All right. So that's that. My take on the whole recession thing is, to be honest, guys, I do think we are going to go into a recession. I don't think GDP is even if GDP gives us 1% or 2%, all right, we might get a small bounce, but overall it's a downtrend. It's a massive, massive downtrend. And Bitcoin being in the downtrend that it's currently in, I really, really don't think that, it's safe in the market right now. I think money is continuously exiting the market. A lot of people who are preparing for the recession, they understand that cash is king. They understand that cash is the system that they're going to need to play until the market starts going back up again. So money is continuously exiting the market. You've got to remember, right, in a bear market, people are going to be taking money out essentially. And in a bull market, every other week, people are going to be saying, look, bro, have you heard of this Bitcoin thing? It's going mad, Yeah, along the AVAX, I put $200 in AVAX and I put $500 in Solana and I put $200 in this SHIB coin. However, in a bear market, it's the complete opposite. It's, bro, you know what? There was a pullback, bro. Yeah, I managed to get out my positions. Yeah, man. Every pullback, I'm trying to sell my positions. I'm so underwater, etc., etc., etc. So, I really think there will be a recession. Look at this. Fed Chairman Jerome Powell has said that it is essential to lower inflation, but it stressed that the goal is to achieve that without derailing the US economy. So look, you guys are all intellectuals. I'm going to ask you guys right now. Fed Chairman Jerome Powell has said it's essential to lower inflation, but stressed that the goal is to achieve that without derailing the US economy. Well, what has happened? What happened in the last FOMC? Did the rate hikes go up or did it go down? What happened a couple of weeks ago when we had the 75 basis point hike rate? What happened then? What's happened with the dollar? What's going on with Dixie? Is Dixie going up or is it pulling back? What's going on with the S&P? Are we continuing to go lower or are we going to start pushing higher? To me, everything screams as though we are in a very, very scary place in the market. We are in such a scary place in the market and nobody's talking about it. Nobody's talking about it. Everybody's talking about 2-minute trades. Just be careful, everyone. Be very, very careful. Do not get suckered into short-term trades. It's the quickest way to lose your funds. I promise you, some of the traders that you follow and that you worship, these guys, have lost a ton more money than they've made. Okay, I've been in this game for a while now. Oof, there we go. Dr. Pepper Zero. Got my Dr. Pepper Zero. I've got my vape. Let's keep talking about the news. Lovely, lovely. Okay, I promise you. So anyway, moving along. This is Murtaza. He's from In It From the Tech as well. A great guy, In It For the Tech. He posts in the Telegram channel too, and he posts his Bitcoin analogies and thesis and so forth. He's telling us here what we spoke about yesterday on yesterday's stream, where, of course, we have the earning reports, FOMC. So this week is a massive week in terms of the earning reports, okay? We've got Alphabet and Microsoft today pushing their earning reports out today, and we know that it's not going to be big. We know that they're not going to be screaming that they've made a ton of profit. We know that given the recession is around the corner, it's probably going to be negative, okay? So with that said, Wednesday, we've got the FOMC decision. Now, I mentioned on yesterday's episode, and I did say that there is a 78% chance that FOMC is going to be another 75 BPS hike. Okay, there is a 78% chance. Now, if there is a 78% chance that that is the case, then we're in trouble. We're in trouble. Having that in one occasion is one thing, but having it on two occasions, that's something else. And on Thursday, the market will not get any cleaner on Thursday because we've got big corporations like Amazon and Apple for their GDP release as well. Again, I'm not bullish. I'm not bullish at all. There is so much in the market right now, which is telling us that price wants to go lower. Price wants to go lower. And if the market was bullish, if we were in a bull market right now, believe me, bros and sisters, believe me, we're going to be singing, we're going to be rapping on this channel, we're going to be having so much fun in the bull market, we're going to be covering so many different altcoins because the market will be bullish. And I'll be telling you guys in the same episodes, I'll be saying, guys, we're seeing this, we're seeing that, we're seeing this. There are so many reasons to be bullish on the market right now. There's so many reasons why I think Bitcoin is going to go up. Bitcoin is going to do X, Y, and Z. I'll tell you guys, I will. I promise you, I will. But right now, we're seeing that in the absolute reverse, whereby we're seeing many, many reasons that the market will be going lower. Okay. So just keep in mind, make sure you print screen this. It's something that is important to be aware of, that we have got a lot of stuff going on this week. Please don't get caught trading the chop. Any respected influencer, anyone who has a voice, anyone who has a platform, anybody who knows what they're talking about will tell you this week, don't trade. People who don't know what they're talking about, people who are trying to sell courses and paid groups, and people who are more emphasized on trading, they will lure you in. They will lure you in with their fishing rod and get you to believe that trading is the way to make it, that trading on lower time frames will help you make it, but not regarding FOMC right around the corner. All your followers lose all their money and they've got no one to blame but themselves. And what will happen is, I guarantee you, whoever these influencers are that promote trading on a week like this, when you get stopped out and you lose all your money, you are going to go and tell them. You're going to go and tweet on their accounts, or you'll message them on YouTube saying, hey, you prick, I lost money because of you. And you know what he or she will do? He or she will turn around and say, hey, no financial advice here, bro. What are you talking about? Those were just my ideas. Why did you take it? That's how these guys play and these girls play. So just keep your head screwed on. All right. Moving along, we've got more bearish news in the market. I'm telling you, it gets worse and worse as we go along. Binance CEO CZ sues Bloomberg's Hong Kong partner for defamation. This is not really major news, but it's something that I wanted to put on here because, of course, when you've got Binance's CEO fiddling around with the market, talking about things like lawsuits and defamation, we have to be prepared for lower prices in the market, okay? So Binance CEO Changpeng Zhao on Monday sued Bloomberg's Business Week's Hong Kong publisher, Modern Media, on defamation claims over a translated Chinese language article title that portrayed the crypto exchange chief as running a Ponzi scheme. So, what does that mean? China tell people that BNB is fucking shit. That's pretty much what they're saying. Okay. Um, I'm not sure what the beef between Hong Kong and Binance is, but we know that since the bull market ended, that crypto exchanges have been under the most heat. Okay. And there will be another piece of news I talk to you guys about after this that helps you understand that. Crypto exchanges right now are under incredible heat. In yesterday's episode, we had a brief conversation in yesterday's episode where we discussed the importance of taking your money off all exchanges and making sure that you had wallets that you had the keys to. And if you had the keys to those wallets, you'd be able to manage your crypto. If you haven't got the keys to your wallet, you can't manage your crypto. And if you can't manage your crypto, then essentially speaking, you're going to get in trouble. Okay. Because if one of those exchanges pauses withdrawals, if one of those exchanges decides to go offline, or if one of those exchanges go insolvent, you're not really going to find out about it until it's too late. And because we are in a bear market, a lot of these exchanges, like me and you, are also investors. And exchanges, during the turmoil of the market, when price goes lower and lower and lower, what happens is they get wrecked the same way we do. A lot of people exit the market as well, so they get lower commissions in trading fees and so forth. And eventually what happens is the trading exchange can't handle the pressure and they die. Now, Binance is not one of these guys, but at the same time, if we're even getting bearish news on Binance, we have to make sure that we're in front of it. So, again, it says it here in this article and it's written in green. Can crypto's richest man stand the cold? And essentially, they're talking about the bear market too. When you have bear markets, you're going to get a lot of bearish news. Okay. Now, what did CZ say? So CZ's representative says to spur hatred, contempt, and ridicule for the world's richest crypto billionaire, Changpeng. So I don't think BNB is a scam. I don't think it's a Ponzi scheme. I don't think Binance is a scam. I really, really respect people like CZ and Elon Musk. I really do. And I'll stick by that into the next cycle. I know a lot of people won't agree with me. I'm just saying personally how I feel. I really respect these guys. I like CZ a lot. I would love it if one day we had him on the channel. Vinit says... NJ, withdraw fiat as well, but we need some on the exchange to buy, right? Yes, agreed. So why can't you use Uniswap? Why can't you use MetaMask? Why can't you send funds to an exchange, buy your altcoin that you want to buy, and then withdraw that altcoin back onto your wallet? You know, what coin are you trying to buy that you can't store on a private wallet? I don't know. You know? And Ali Yunus with consistent jokes, NJ got the keys. This guy, bro. This guy. I love you, bro. Thank you for joining the streams. I love you, bro. Oh, look at what Joel is saying here. God, this is a scandal. Joe's calling out a scandal here. CZ and a few other top Binance people are ex-Bloomberg employees. That is a rare scandal right there, Joel. I don't know. I'm not sure if I can verify that. And SolidX says, why would you say his name like that? I have no idea what you're talking about, motherfucker. I have no idea. And Elizabeth continuously helping the members of the chat out. Guys, we've got a really, really good community that we're building here, man. I really, really like the people that are joining the show. I'm always talking about subscribing and liking and whatnot. And you guys are doing that. You guys are liking the videos. You guys are helping us get to 100 likes every episode. And you guys are subscribing to the channel. But I've got to say, the amount of hardcore members that we're getting in these shows now, it's a beautiful community that we're building. I'm really excited for the future. I really am excited to bring you guys more content to continue with what we're doing. Okay, so we'll move on from here now because that's just the news. It is what it is. Binance are suing Bloomberg. I don't think this is going to get a lot of traction. I don't think this is going to affect Binance. However, if for some black swan reason that Bloomberg can spin it and flip it on Binance, and just be careful in case Binance have to, stop services for a day or two, that could lead to capitulation in Bitcoin. That could lead to a real market turn. So it's up to us to be prepared. We have to connect the dots and be prepared. Your scalpers and your day traders, they're not paying attention to things like this. And what happens is if Bloomberg switches it up and turns it back on Binance and they win and Binance have to pause their services, then what's going to happen is the market will respond. Bitcoin will whoop, and nobody will be prepared for it. Moving along. This is an important one. I want you guys to see this. This is an important one because this doesn't just apply to exchanges. This applies to altcoins as well. And it's something that you guys really need to understand. So since 2014, roughly 42% of failed crypto exchanges have disappeared without a trace for no apparent reason. Now, this is not just crypto exchanges, but this is going to be altcoins too. Okay? In 2015, we had an exchange called Mt. Gox, okay? And they were the Binance of that time, all right? In 2017, this company called Binance opened up and they had their own token, BNB. And by the time 2020 came along, Binance, in fact, not even 2020, 2017, in the heart of that bull market, Binance took over and really became the next big crypto exchange, holding most of the spot exchange volume and whatnot. And then we had another exchange called Qcoin that launched roughly around the same times, and they tried to compete with Binance. They didn't quite get there, but they built their own name in terms of how they operated. Now, in 2020, we had an even newer exchange called FTX, which was built by SBF. And even that exchange has its own merit. It has its own tokens associated with it, such as FTX's token, and of course Solana, which everybody knows about. Now, one thing that I need to tell you is that crypto is forever evolving. It forever evolves. And in the next cycle, no matter how much we prepare, there is going to be new technologies, new concepts, and new exchanges. Okay. And that's the beauty of crypto. The beauty of crypto is that you're going to have the opportunities that you're looking for. Okay. You're going to get the opportunities that you're looking for. So essentially speaking, seeing an article like this, for me, it makes complete sense. I can see a lot more people dying. There'll be a lot of altcoins that are alive right now that will go to zero. Okay, they will go to zero. And similarly with exchanges as well, exchanges that host these tokens are scared. They're fearful. The more bear market we have, the more bearish news we're going to have. And these guys, they need to run away because some of them list securities. Yesterday, we spoke about Coinbase going through some issues with the SEC because the SEC are arguing that they're listing securities, but in reality, Coinbase is turning around and saying no. So these exchanges here, these exchanges are worried like crazy, and they think that, they're going to get caught. So they disappear without any trace for no apparent reason. But if you've got your money locked up on these exchanges, you're going to have a bad time. Okay? You're going to have a bad time. So just be careful, be super careful. During the past 8 years, research shows only 22% of failed crypto exchanges have left due to actual business related reasons. And those business related reasons, what are they? When we look at things like Luna and Celsius and whatnot, we know the stories behind those. On paper, later on, people just talk about liquidations and people talk about money exiting the market, but it's we know what they are. We know that Luna got rugged because of that pussy or Do Kwan. We know that Celsius failed because they didn't manage their positions. We know that 3AC got liquidated because they don't know what they're doing and they lull people into a false sense of security whereby they make people believe that they do know what they're doing. We know why a lot of this happened in the way that it happened. Now, just be careful, okay? This article, once again, is to remind you, number one, not your keys, not your crypto. And number two, one thing that's important too to remember is, of course, that a lot of the altcoins that you guys are looking at, a lot of the altcoins that you saw go from 0 to 2 million% or whatever in the last bull run, they might not be the altcoins that really thrive in the next market. Okay. And I'll give you an example. The example is Doge. Okay. Doge in the 2017 bull market, massive gains. And in the 2021 bull market, massive gains, but it didn't quite make the same gains that something like Floki did. Floki was the new meme coin. Floki came around and it was new, it was shiny, it was what everybody wanted. And that's the coin that went and did like 1,000x. Okay. So in the next bull market as well, there's going to be new tokens. A lot of these tokens will die. All right. Of course, a coin like Floki, they work hard during the bear market. I don't think they will die. I think they're going to go back to their previous glory, but we'll have to wait and see for the next bull market to see whether or not they were able to manage and maintain. Okay. So that's that. Again, same thing. So we covered this on this channel the other day where Zipmex was they paused withdrawals, and I said to you guys, I said, look, I know a lot of you guys don't really pay attention to this exchange or to this custody. At the same time, they wanted to pause withdrawals. They did the other day. They tweeted out saying we're pausing withdrawals, and now they are saying Zipmex seeks 50 million after freezing crypto withdrawals. So again, you know what? I can't prove it, and I'm not sure I can say that I really believe in it. But sometimes it makes me wonder if these guys are just pausing withdrawals because they don't actually have money. And what happens is they know that because the market is dumping, people want to exit their positions and take their money off the exchanges. Maybe to withdraw it in fiat, maybe to save it on their hard wallets or whatever. Maybe because they just want to exit the market because the market is just going down. And if they all exit too quickly, then this exchange is going to become insolvent because they haven't got enough money on the exchange. They're not making enough trading volume. And essentially speaking, they're trying to steal your money. So again, I'm not saying that this exchange is doing that. I'm just saying it's a bit fishy. It looks a bit suspect to me. It's something that you guys need to pay attention to and focus on. Okay. And finally, just off what we were talking about yesterday, where Coinbase is going through an issue with the SEC at the moment to investigate what they've listed. Coinbase listed a lot of tokens in the 2021 bull market. Coinbase were becoming interestingly irrelevant as the market continued to go up. Coinbase was listing all sorts of tokens to try and keep up with the likes of Binance and KuCoin and such. And I think a lot of these tokens that they listed, because obviously a lot of them aren't doing well anymore, the SEC is now paying attention. You got to remember that Coinbase, for a lot of people, is the entry into cryptocurrency. Coinbase is kind of the first place that a lot of new people go to buy cryptocurrency. And if you go on Coinbase and you see Bitcoin and Ethereum, which in my time was kind of the only thing you could really get. I was there when Bitcoin Cash was listed on Coinbase, and it was a huge event, right? But now you can buy a ton of tokens on Coinbase. A lot of the coins in the top 50 you can actually buy on Coinbase. Now, the problem with that is that a lot of these tokens, which will actually go to zero because they're just not actually, they don't have the tech that's relevant to really making crypto grow. A lot of these tokens that go to zero, it's going to catch the attention of the SEC because a lot of the newbies that are going in, they're not going to really understand what they're buying. They're just going to go into Coinbase and see, what are we buying? Okay, do you know what? Bitcoin is a bit high. So what I'll do is I'll buy this random token that could potentially have legs. And then what happens is they lose all their money and it's apparently Coinbase's fault. So it's one of those things. The more you do things like this, the more you get closer and closer to financial advice. And the SEC is on Coinbase's case right now. I mean, I do hope Coinbase wins. I don't think that Coinbase is doing anything wrong. I think that they are a segue into cryptocurrency. Coinbase helped me when I got into cryptocurrency. That was where I went first. It was an easy interface to use. It was an easy segue for me to get into cryptocurrency. And then as I got better, as I started learning which roads to take, it's kind of going to a new country. You go to a new country, you're not familiar with the roads, you're not familiar with the people, and then you have one place that you go to, which is the beginning. All right. Coinbase was the beginning for most people, and it was certainly the beginning for me. So I do hope they overcome this. It's news that we'll stay on top of because we don't want something too negative to happen to Coinbase. Something too negative happening to Coinbase could mean a further downshift in the market. It could be the catalyst. Bitcoin seems to be dumping. Bitcoin is dumping. So don't forget, guys, the plans that we've got for Bitcoin that we put in the earlier stages of the episode. And Elizabeth with a lovely comment here as well to say, if you appreciate the content, then like and subscribe, guys. It helps growing the channel and bring more to you. Completely agree, Elizabeth. If you haven't subscribed already, I'm counting on you guys to help us get to 3K subscribers. We're not getting enough subscribers. We're getting people joining the channel. We're getting people joining the shows, and 50% aren't subscribing to the channel. And it really, really is bizarre. I don't know why. So if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel and help us get to 3K. Do your part as a member of the NJ community. Make sure you like the video. Get the video to over 100 likes if possible. We're 15 likes away. So for 15 people who haven't liked the video, if you're in the chat right now, take a second to subscribe to the content and like the video. Solid S with a lovely, lovely comment here to say, bro, it's so good to see UK channel from someone from London. Great work. Of course, I will always try my best. I'll endeavor to bring you more news and more content. But I tell you what, let's move on now. We've got 20 minutes left before I head off. What do you guys want to do? Do you guys want to do some altcoin requests? Do you guys want to talk a little bit? Do you guys have any questions for me? Samir says, I've already subscribed. It's great to have you here daily, bro. It's great to be here, mate. I appreciate you. I can see a few altcoin requests coming in, but let me know what you guys want to do. Do you want to talk about some altcoins? Do you want to talk about some FA? Do you want to do a cheeky little Q&A? What do you want to do? I'll wait for the comments to come in as I relax and I vape. We are 13 likes away from 100 likes. Can somebody make that happen? One of you guys make that happen. We are less than 300 subs away from 3K subs. Let's make it happen, guys. Come on, let's make it happen. I love this drink. Okay, all right. I'm looking at the comments. I'm seeing the comments coming in. All right, I'm reading through the comments. Don't worry, I'm reading through the comments. So let's see what we have here. So someone's asking for Solana, someone's asking for Elrond. Somebody is saying, let me see if I can get some questions out of the way before I go into the TA, because once I get into the TA, I can't really answer questions. So good alt trade. Let's have a look at this question here. Good alt trade. Thank you though. Anything is good. Look, I'm afraid there isn't a good alt trade right now unless you're shorting the market. The chart that you're looking at here is Bitcoin right now. It's a week of FOMC. If you're looking for a trade every single week, what's going to happen is you're going to quickly find out that not every week is the week for trading. Not every day is the day for trading. If somebody has tricked you into believing that you can make 10R a day, then you need to unfollow that person. Or you know what? Follow that person, take the trades that they're taking. When you've blown your account, come back to the NJ community. We'll be there for you. Don't worry. We'll be here waiting for you. So, in terms of good alt trades right now, I can't give you any real good alt trades right now. Every alt that we chart there's going to be a shorting scenario, I guarantee you. Coins that have a lot of volatility and a lot of liquidity, coins like Solana, we can chart those ones for sure. We can look for shorting opportunities on those, no problem if you're taking the shorts. But if anybody's looking to long, I really wouldn't. And we can look at Solana real quick. We'll do that first. Let me see if I've got any questions here. Any questions? Thoughts on SHIB? Okay, so this is a good question. So SHIB is working hard to build in the bear market. I do like what SHIB is doing. They have got Shibarium, which is launching. So they're trying to turn into a layer 2 as opposed to moving away from a meme coin. Now, look, the only problem I have with SHIB doing that is, you see, if Doge moves, Doge is the king of the meme coins. And if Shiba, if Doge moves and it gives us a massive move, then typically what happens is money tends to flow into the meme industry, and Shiba will be one of those coins that money will flow into. But the problem is if Shiba is is moving away from the meme coin style and moving into layer twos, then I don't know. Suddenly it becomes a competitor of Matic and not a competitor of Doge. So I'm not particularly sure. We're going to have to wait and see how Shiba reacts in the next cycle. If Shiba can turn into a layer two where people are actually building on their platform and they are what's it called? If people are building on their platform and people are using their network, then fine. I agree, Shiba could be big. But if they are doing what meme coins do and they're trying to associate themselves as an L2, I think they're going to fail miserably. Any more? Any more? So Scarlett is saying VLX on Bittrex weekly. All right, we'll have a look, Scarlett. We'll have a look. I'll take a look in a moment. Let me just see if there's any more questions, because I never really answer your questions in terms of talking to me. So Scarlett, I love you, sis. You're an awesome person. You're an awesome person. Thank you very much. Um, Ryan says, I want to learn how to trade. Have just been playing about with spot, but would love to do some paper trading, etc., to practice before using real money. Sure. Look, Ryan, look, I advocate that. I advocate that completely. Just make sure that if you're learning how to trade, you don't mix it with what cryptocurrency actually is. Cryptocurrency is a movement. It's a new economy. It's not designed for your 15 and 5 minute scalps. It doesn't. That's not how it works. Um, Cryptocurrency is a massive movement. All right, it's about buying the lows and selling the highs. It's about being involved in something new, in something big. um Cryptocurrency is our dot-com bubble. All right, so when our parents were alive, some of them are alive, some of them are still alive. When our parents were young, is what I meant to say, was they had opportunities in terms of the housing market. They had opportunities in terms of the tech stocks and the dot-com bubble. All these dot-com startups that were printing crazy amounts of money. It's no different to the altcoins that are printing so much money now. Okay, and when we have children or grandchildren, they'll have their own version of generational wealth. It might not be crypto, it might be something else. Okay, but that's what cryptocurrency is, and trading is that. It's just trading. If you want to focus on charts, if you want to focus on candlesticks and formations and patterns, and you don't care about the macro concept of Bitcoin and Ethereum and the global market, then totally what I would suggest is to follow traders who just solely focus on price action. If you're new to trading, get ready to blow maybe 10-15 accounts. If you don't believe that that's not going to happen, you're in for a lovely and juicy surprise. Okay, I'm telling you now, I'm telling you, your favorite traders, other than SC and XO, anybody else, I can't speak for them, but your favorite traders have lost way more money than they've made. Okay, your favorite traders didn't sell the top in the last bull run, and I promise you that they didn't. I promise you. Okay, some people are here because they want to build a community, and some people are here because they want to see a community get stronger. Some people are here because they want to see the growth in crypto in a whole, growth in crypto as a whole, because the more crypto grows as a whole, the more these altcoins are going to make sense, the more these bigger moves are going to make sense. We're trying to make history here, and other people will be here to try and desperately trade the market, to try and make pennies, scrape pennies, and they won't understand the overall market concepts. And what will happen is they'll get wrecked, and their followers will most likely get wrecked too. Won't be tonight, won't be tomorrow, but they will get found out, I promise you, because I was one of those victims. All right. Next question. Good question. I like this question. In it for the tech, how many trades do you take a week? Sometimes I take two, sometimes I take one, sometimes I don't trade. I've taken one trade this week, and that trade happened on the weekend. I've taken one trade this week. Sometimes I might not take a trade. It's all about making sure that you can identify when the trade sets up. If the trade hasn't set up yet, or if you can't figure out when the trade is going to set up, then you shouldn't be trading. Look at the range that we're in now. Look at this. Look at this. My perspective is this area here is what's going to take interest for me. This area here is what's going to take interest for me. But you know what people will do? People will try and look for a scalp here. People will try and look for a long and a short in this area here. And then what happens is they get stopped out for a price to eventually just go lower anyway. And then what happens is they don't know where to take profits. Price does that, price does this, price does that. And they've just lost their money, lost their accounts. Look, I learned the hard way, innit? You guys will learn the hard way too. I promise you, you guys will learn the hard way too. And there's nothing wrong with that, because learning the hard way got me to where I got to myself, you know? So what else have we got here? So that's Ryan's question. Firm but fair. Thanks to your help. Do you tune your fib line? Yeah. Okay. Look, this is a good question right here. Do you fine tune your fib lines to the reactions from the charts? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. So this fib isn't actually a fib. This is a range. So you'll notice on fibs, they have different percentages. But what I've done is I've gone into my fib settings. I've gone into my fib settings here, and what I've done is I've changed my fib settings so that I've got the 0, quarter, half, 3/4, and 1. And then I've kept the 1.618, 2.618, because those are levels that have helped me in the past. And what I do is I find it easier to plot my ranges out when I keep my fib like that. So essentially speaking, when I'm looking for my range, I'm looking for the most touch points that I can find. And also, I want to make sure that price is actually telling me the story that makes sense. Okay. So that's how I do my fibs and my ranges. What else? Excuse the stupid question, NJ, but could you talk a bit about how you look for potential new projects that might add value to the space in the future? Thanks for everything. Yuri, that is a fantastic question, my friend. I really, really like that question. And, that's a great question. Now, as we develop in as a community on the NJ show, we are going to be discussing more about altcoins. We're going to be doing more altcoin reviews. The reason I'm not doing it at the moment is I get worried. I get worried that you guys will interpret it as financial advice, and you guys will just go ahead and spend money, and I don't want you guys to do that. There will be a time and a place, all right, when the market bottoms out, when the market gives us that exit of the bear market. We'll be talking about a new altcoin every single day, because that's what happens. In the bull market, that's what you get. In the bull market, you'll get a lot of new trades, a lot of new projects that are launching every other day. Some will be good, some will be absolute dog crap, but we will be here on the NJ show to dissect and distribute. The ones that are crap, we'll throw them into a corner there. The ones that are good, we're going to talk about. We'll break them down. We'll do some proper good FA. And notice this as well. Watch what happens. Watch what happens. For those guys who don't know how to trade, for those guys who are on their live live streams right now, only talking about candlesticks formations, they don't know FA. They don't understand FA. They don't understand global markets. They're talking about highs and lows. And what will happen is, as soon as the market starts getting bullish again, they'll focus less on their live trades and they'll focus a hell of a lot more on altcoins. Watch out for that. Take a note, put it somewhere in your phone and see what NJ said. You'll see that will happen. I'm telling you, people who don't know what they're doing, they'll get found out. And people who do know, you want to be part of those communities. You want to grow for yourself. We are 5 likes away from 100 likes. 5 likes away. But the audience has dropped off. I think a lot of people have to go now, which is totally fine. But if we can get over to 100, that will be good. Again, that will be good. And if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please, if you don't mind, because we are on our way to 3K subscribers. It's important that we can get there. Okay, you guys will help us get there. Anything else that's going on? I'll take 1 or 2 more questions. So what's Chris saying? I just tried to long ETH there at support and I got stopped. Well, yeah, mate, this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying, Chris. Like, there are people who don't understand the context of price. And when you don't understand the concept of price and you're looking for just for quick in and out trades, you're going to get stopped out a lot, you know? I like this from Ryan here. Personally, I want to be able to short and long when the market shows the trend. I'm 100% out of the market currently due to macro conditions. A big round of applause for you, mate. Even though you are out of the market, make sure that you're still consistently eyeing the market. Okay, this mid-range here that we've got here is an important range. it is an important level. All right. Now, there is so much confluence for downside, but don't forget, we can do something like this. Okay. We can do that. There's nothing to say that we can't do that. And a lot of people will be dumbfounded when it happens, if it happens, and a lot of people won't know what to do. So even if you're out the market, always look for things like this. If we tap the mid range, we know we're going to get a reaction. I'm still not taking a trade. That's not a problem. If we get back above here and we're holding as resistance, well, I had a trade plan for this, didn't I? Where I've got my stop loss just above here. It's a valid trade. I'm going to ride it to the mid range, and after the mid range, I'll let it go. If we do get to the mid range before that and we hold, then there are two scenarios that I have. One, if we break below the mid range and we hold, then I can short it with a stop loss potentially here, whichever the high was that it made, and I'll ride it to the 25% that we've got here. And if price gets like this, and if price from here, from the mid range, gets back above the 75%, then we're above all this resistance. Okay, so we've got trade plans. You can stay out of the market, you can remain out of the market, but just as long as you're practicing, as long as you're understanding, as long as you're learning, and as long as you're trying to make it make sense. Okay, so there's that. I'll take one more. What's this? When a coin is pumping and stop pumping, then I short and I make huge profit. This is correct. Please tell. I have no idea what you're talking about, mate. If price is pumping, if BTC is pumping, this is the range high, this is the range low. If we deviate the range, we get back inside of the range, yeah, we're going to sell off. And that's what we've done so far. Okay. Anyway, guys, look, I tell you what, I'm going to leave it there. With altcoins, they're going to follow what Bitcoin is doing. Bitcoin is looking bearish. If Bitcoin looks bullish, we'll talk about the bullish plans that we have. But Bitcoin is looking bearish. If Bitcoin is looking bearish, then your altcoins are going to drop a lot harder than Bitcoin will. So I would advise that you guys play very safe. One more time before I leave to just carry on with my day. If you guys are playing the market, if you guys are leveraging on the market, then please make sure that you're not doing it on super low time frames, because it is an illusion. It is an illusion. I know a lot of you guys in the chat are just like me. I'm not going to pretend that I'm some wafty social media influencer taking pictures for my Instagram. I know that you guys are just like me. I'm a normal guy and you guys are normal as well. All right. You guys are learning the same things I was learning in 2018. I wish I had somebody to tell me in 2018 to freaking save my money and not long and short the market. Okay. Especially with FOMC week, especially when we have ranges that are keeping the market super volatile. It's far better to identify whether or not you're an investor or whether you're a trader. If you're an investor, which 99% of you are, you can't deny it, you are. If you're an investor, then wait for your moment. Stop being impatient. What's wrong with you? Stop being impatient. Okay? Please don't put yourself in a position where you're not going to make it. A lot of people lost all their money from the 2021 bull cycle, and they have no money now. Okay? You're going to be in the same position if you're focusing on these lower time frame trades. Okay? Nothing is ever financial advice. When the market gives us that true bottom, that's where the generational wealth is going to be made. All the stuff that you're doing right now, it won't be important if you catch that bottom, if you catch the exit of that bear market. So please, as always, be very, very careful. Keep your stop losses healthy. Don't try and take low time frame trades. You'll get in big trouble. You'll lose your money. It will be dangerous for you. If you focus on the higher time frame context and you can see what price is doing, then it will be okay. But I'll leave you all there. Please make sure to like, and if you haven't subscribed already, I urge you guys to subscribe to the content as well. We've managed to make it over 100 likes, which is fantastic. So a massive thank you to you guys there. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for FOMC at 12:15 p.m. BST. So thank you all once again. Cheers to all of you. Cheers, mate. Appreciate you all.